All right, let's talk about the 21-year-old Sam Howell, who can throw the ball pretty well and is a good runner, although I had some issues with him as well, so he's definitely a unique player. Let's talk about what I like about him and what he needs to improve upon and the concerns I have about him entering the NFL, and we'll start things off with this play. This is a good play by him. So it appears to be a sort of a cover one man play. So you have multiple players who are covering over the middle, but the throw that Howell wants to make is also over the middle. So what do? Well, you have to get them out of position, and a great way to do that is, if you're a quarterback, use your eyes. Watch how Howell, when he takes the snap, looks over to his left. Now, granted, it's possible he was initially going to maybe make this throw and just goes to a second progression. I don't think so. I think he was always going to throw over the middle and just using this to clear out the space over the middle. As you see, that's going to be exactly what happens. Howell makes the throw, and they pick up a decent chunk play right there. It was a good, accurate throw, and it was a well-done job by him to help it get more open. Again, people always love to say, quarterback just threw to the open guy. Throwing to the open guy is sometimes a skill because it's in part because you help them get open. Now let's go over to some negatives for a second. He holds on to the ball for a while. That's just something that you do see. He never believes that a play is dead. Sometimes it isn't, but sometimes it very much is. This is an example. As you see, Howell takes the snap, looks downfield, nothing is open, and he is going to still try to make something happen and takes a sack. This happens a lot, and especially happened a lot last year when guys just didn't get open. Like, there's no denying that he looked worse when he had less receiving talent, which is certainly unfortunate, and maybe that's why you might want to take a chance on him if you are a Howell defender, because you say, hey, a lot of these issues were because no one was getting open. So just, make sure you get guys open at the NFL level. And there's some logic to that. But even so, some stuff like this too also jumps out at you, where what's going to happen on this play is watch what happens. Howell takes the snap right here, and he didn't have to get outside the pocket, but he could, even though there was a spy there to now try to, make a tackle on him. But he felt like this would maybe give him a better angle, so fine. He now sees that number 11 there is open, and so he's going to try and see if he can make this throw. But again, it's a tough throw. You have to get it over the defender who's in front, so you do have a player in between both of you, so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. But you also have a player who's very close to you about to sack you, so you have to make a decision quickly. Either throw it or don't, but make a decision. Howell does not make this decision. Maybe he thought he could get around it, but ended up actually fumbling the football out of bounds, so good defensive play for sure, but also that's something that you want to see Howell be a little bit better at, is getting rid of the football quickly, not being so much of a runner, because he does seem to be kind of, definitely at times, a run first, pass second kind of guy. A play like this is actually kind of an example of maybe why he does that, because watch what's going to happen here. Howell takes the snap, he's going to look towards the top of the screen, and at this point, again, he could maybe make this throw, but I actually like what he's going to do here better. As you see, he instead just takes off and runs with the football and picks up a decent gain there. So some people will say, I love the quarterback who looks to throw first, and I do too, but at the same time, what you want is the quarterback to, if you're in college and you're a college head coach, you want your quarterback to help you win football games. That's what Howell is trying to accomplish. So on one hand, I think he ran a little bit too much. On the other hand, he ran a lot because it worked a lot in college. I just have my worries about how well will it work at the NFL level, where it's just more difficult to be a good runner. I also think something like this really can help illustrate the idea of when your surrounding talent isn't as good, you don't look as good, where it's going to be quarters coverage and you see the route that he wants to throw to. There's an extra man in coverage, so these are tight windows. As you see, Howell takes the snap, and right here, so I paused it, this is kind of when you would want to throw the football a little bit, maybe a little earlier, but not that much earlier. This is pretty good timing. Howell's throw is really accurate, well-timed, and intercepted. That can happen in football, but quite frankly, I think a better receiver gets a little bit more open, and that's a catch instead of the interception. And so I think that kind of stuff just makes a quarterback look worse, and that's something you see on film last year, which is unfortunate because the most recent film we have of him isn't ideal. But again, there's also stuff like this where really kind of the middle routes, so the one that's, I guess the best way to describe it would be the second receiver closest towards the bottom of the screen. Currently, that's the route that you're going to want to pay the most attention to. Howell is going to run to play action here, and what you see is that as of right now, this play is about to get open, and you can tell that because the only player who's covering the receiver who I'm talking about is, he has his back turned. So making a throw in that direction is a good move, and it's also where Howell is looking at. Now, he's also kind of looking downfield, but deep isn't going to get open. The safety is about to peel off and cover the deep route. So for Howell, if he kind of threw this with a bit more anticipation, this could have been a completion. Instead, Howell looks to run and is not going to pick up too many yards. So this is part of why the Mitchell Trubisky comparisons have been made, also them playing at the same school. And to be honest, I do kind of see them a little bit. I don't think that the comparisons are entirely unfair. I really don't. There's definitely some comparisons to be made between those two. But again, just because you can see some similarities does not mean that they are going to be the same player, and sometimes that can actually color your viewpoint of that stuff. Also, something like this, you see Howell takes the snap. He's going to eventually throw this ball deep, and this is another issue I've had with him where you see it's not wide open. I know it's a little blurry. The player who is deeper is the North Carolina player, the guy Howell is trying to throw to. However, Howell's throw just is a bit long, and it falls incomplete. Okay, not the end of the world. Everyone misses some throws, but I definitely saw him miss a little bit more than you would like in terms of deep throws. The accuracy, not exactly perfect. On this one, he takes the snap. He's going to run to play action. Again, there was pressure up front. That played a role, but look at just how long that ball hung up there. That's not good. You want to get that ball on more of a line because it allowed the defender to come back in and make the play. Again, pressure definitely played a role in that, but this is not just, the only time I've seen something like this, and let's be honest, at the NFL level, you're going to have guys in your face when you're trying to make throws. So that's another thing. And again, in fairness, something like this, where he's going to take the snap, he is again going to throw it deep. There's still a little bit more air under it, but it's a good throw and you get a completion there. So get the big touchdown. That's what you want to do. So again, with these things, it's all about consistency, more about can you do it? He can do it. So it's not the end of the world by any means. But again, these are some things that I saw on tape and wanted to bring up. Finally, something like this, I'm kind of just going to let it play, although I will have to pause it for a 5-second chunk just because that's how copyright works. But you're just going to see a really good job of him running in open space. He's a good runner of the football, and that's something that's definitely a good quality to have. Again, there's the Mitchell Trubisky comparisons. Part of that is because Trubisky is a legitimate good runner, and I think Howell is as well. So those are the other positives here. So that's kind of, what I like and what I don't love about Sam Howell. If you're wondering how I think he ranks up with the other quarterbacks and how good I think he is, when would I draft him? Well, the wait is almost over. It'll be the 6th is when I will be talking about all the quarterbacks, giving my rankings. So April 6th, Wednesday, 5 o'clock on the podcast, I'll be doing a top 10 quarterback show. So I'll be honest, number 10 might not be a superstar, but listen, I think there's some good talent there. So definitely check that out. Wanted to kind of make a video giving my general thoughts on Sam Howell, some things I saw on film. That's kind of how I feel about him, is there's definitely stuff to like. The physical tools are very good, but there are some concerns, and maybe that some of those concerns are just age. He's very young, so that's certainly a way you could talk yourself into that. But yeah, that's what I think about Howell. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.